Welcome everybody to PUBG OCE Second Division kickoff for the Season 2 of PUBG OCE Competitive Game League. Joining me tonight will be Junglefo. How you going, Jungle?
Great, thanks. How are you?
Mate, I'm good, fantastic. Interested in watching these guys kick off the first round for High Top Division. We watched Bandana Division last night, put in a lot of work with those 3 rounds that they had there. Bit of a different lineup for the matches. We're going to go day clear, I believe it is. Then we're going to be going for a dusk. Is it dusk, I believe? So we're not going to be having the rain included. I think there were some FPS issues with that, with last night's rounds that they had there in the Bandana Division.
Yeah, definitely. I believe it's sunset actually, but a lot of the players were complaining about sudden FPS drops during that rain game mode. So hopefully that won't be an issue tonight with the swap around.
Teams tonight in the lineup, we got 3XC, Abracadabra, Adolf's Angels, Aegis 7 Bravo team, Atletico OW, I think it's the Overwatch team by the sound of it, Chicken Katsu, Conspiracy, another org there, Flight Path Chicken, Gat, oh I can't read this one, Gat Kaki. that one's a bit of a tongue twister there, not a very common word I can see. Taiwanese Titans, Lunatics, I believe it is. I like the way they've got that spelt with a big IX there. Marcel's Bakery, that's an interesting choice of name. MQR, No Idea Ninjas, No Joke Esports, shout out to No Joke Esports, I'm a little bit partial. Primal, PUBG Monks, Roll the Dice, Shatukin, am I pronouncing that one right?
I have no idea.
Returning against Smashbox Syndicate. Now, these guys are someone to watch out for, these players from Smashbox. Edge, Champs, Dozy, Blood, P Potato, and Nutshot AU. Nut and Edge, Champs, some of the strongest players AU at the moment. Got Succulent, Sniping Esports, Team ST, The Cave, and Konzetsu. Just don't want to make sure I leave any of those teams out. So these guys are all coming in a drop going east to west right now, with the plan about mid to south mid of the map. And there is a very high density of players dropping in around GM and FM. So over around the Milta Power area, Milta moving out to the northwest from Milta, spreading now. Look at this line here. All the teams are starting to drop out as they go towards the village north over the river from the Sosnovka military base. Still got Big Daddy and a couple other guys going probably towards Primorsk. So it looks like the condense maybe going to be going towards the southwest at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like No Joke Esports actually are the only team going for the South Island, not afraid of the military base.
That's going to be a massive advantage for these guys as far as loot capacity, because between 4 players, the amount of buildings that they're going to have there without any contention, as long as they're able to secure a vehicle, it's going to work very well in their advantage. Unless, of course, somebody has gotten wind that they're going to be doing that. Depending where the circle goes, a choke point could see an upset here.
Doesn't look like too many people are actually near the bridges to stop them from traveling back to north if that's required with the upcoming circle. But a lot of people favouring towards Lipovka, with several teams heading in that direction early off. But also many teams still long shooting.
And Georgipol are going to see a lot of early action here. I'm kind of surprised that there's nobody going for what's now renamed as the prison. I used to call it the military base. That seems to be quite empty at the moment. Also, bunkers empty.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like a lot of teams actually are going for that rush towards Yasmaya, as some are choosing to opt for the rush for the vehicle, but some also, as you can see, are going for the long shoot.
Looks so like here now, near one of those presumably hard spawns, we've got Bazooks found himself a UAZ here as he's heading up to the southeastern side from where they've landed, towards the double reds.
It just looked like he got a kill there, running over somebody. I didn't catch quite who it was, but he definitely hit somebody.
We are down to 93 players. So
I'm not sure who he hit, but it looked, if something popped up, I think he knocked someone out. I'm not sure he finished him off, but that was very sudden.
So there's Come On, and Bazooks and the rest of their team are now going to be heading slightly to the north actually. Looks like they might be going to the elevated shacks. Watching Aaron B still here near the hard spawn, just to his right here. You can see it might have been the player that you'd called out as the casualty from that vehicle hit there.
I'm not sure who it is actually. I'm not familiar with the team, but yeah, very unfortunate for that player early on. Just didn't quite make it to the buildings as Bazooks ran in with the UAZ.
Well, give us a shout out in the Twitch chat, because you'll definitely be the first player to run over there from the competition tonight. My condolences.
That's very unfortunate.
So the circle now, looks like the condensing is going to be heading towards central north of the map. And currently, the furthest players out are either going to be at the southwest with Hades and the rest of the boys down there. I believe Hades from What is the name of that town? I can't remember for the life of me.
Oh, I'm not quite sure. I believe it's Succulent Sniping. Yeah, Succulent Sniping Esports. Bit of a
You're absolutely correct there. So Hades, Sardude, Defs Won't Kill You, Headler, and Sunny and Untainted 26 of their team. Probably the furthest out, but going to be a lot harder, I think, for the guys from Trident. From No Joke, formerly Trident Esports from Season 1 CGL. These guys are going to have to come through either the west or the east side bridge and make their way up. And it looks like they might find some competition if the guys from the team with Succulent make their way past that bridge. We'll see what happens as that unfolds. There's a drop now in the central north in EJ. We can see teams now starting to condense across that eastern bridge of the central part of the zone.
It does look like Master may actually be heading towards that drop. I'm not sure if he's going for the buildings that are in between, but he may head for it, and that might cause some confrontation with Tintin or Neon. We're not sure. We'll have to see how that develops. But as you said, definitely for No Joke Esports, they'll most likely have to grab a vehicle to get to that zone in a couple of minutes, because grabbing a boat's probably not the best idea. So confrontation with the guys at Prim might be inevitable. But as you can see, 3 vehicles moving in on this airdrop.
It does look like Kenzetsu's getting closest at the moment. So we're going to see a bit of a triple threat here coming in for contention. Maybe they go for a sneaky one where they try and land the crate on top of the roof. No, they're pulling up right now as we are on board with Neon Mimic, pulling into the junkyard compound.
They definitely did loot seemingly. Oh, hit with the red zone actually before I even finished what I'm saying. Tintin took out. I thought it was a red zone, but actually it was a headshot. Very nicely.
That Psycho Grin that's gone down? I think it is. He's just hiding on the southeast side of that crate there. Right in the middle of a bomb zone right now as well. It's a very dangerous play here for these guys. Kenzetsu's
running in with the shotgun. Not much for them to do actually with only Neon with an assault rifle, so he's just going for the YOLO revive up at the crate with Tintin hiding behind his UAZ, which just blew up. Luckily,
Makes no damage,
back enough. Just back, so he doesn't take any damage. But now he's moving in on it, obviously, with no more
Psycho Goon's sitting at about 5 to 10% health, slowly on the hill there, possibly with some bandages by
looks like he picked up the M24, however. This could be massive if it came with a scope, though. He might get an easy kill on Tintin, who's out only behind a UAZ with no team in sight. I'm not sure if he got a scope, but he definitely did pick up a beastly sniper rifle.
So Tintin now using the destroyed UAZ as cover, which is a smart move considering it's not going to be able to give off any more explosive damage. They've survived the red zone as well. Not sure how many more players are going to be coming in condensing on seeing that drop. We saw 3 teams contend for it, and currently we're watching Kenzetsu, and they're holding their ground against Tintin. Tintin's not in a very good area here because any other teams are coming.
I think Tintin may be getting some backup though. Another car's rolling up right behind him. Nearly hit him in that back, but he's going on the offensive. The motorbike actually did pick up. He didn't get on though.
Seat.
That's no good. I think
unfortunately now both of them being put into an exceptional amount of unnecessary danger. Unfortunately, by the look of it, his teammate's gone down. So
it's not going well for them at all.
Completely against them here, unfortunately. Looks like the guys in Kenzetsu are holding down the junkyard very well. I don't know if Tintin's going to be trying to exfil here. It's very exposed. They need to probably wait until there's more contention.
Double run overkill there. Too easy with the Dacia.
That was Neon Mimic there coming in, all crazy taxi-like.
He's going in for the finish, but I think this is all done and dusted for them. Wow, that is unfortunate.
In PUBG OCE, CGL, you don't need a gun to win. Darcy will get it done for you.
Not at all. While we were watching this fight, in fact, though, it looked like Resolves and the rest of his team took out the former champs, Smashbot Syndicate. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but popping up that newsfeed, plenty of kills there by Resolves. But it now looks like Stalin's going on the offensive, taking out Nudida. Another airdrop, obviously, up in the water. But as the team move into Severny, highly contested with that zone.
Watching on board now with Stylen, just down here in Severny. Looks like he might be in contact. Just to the southwest of the church area in Severny, right up north. So these guys are in good placement at the moment. You look at the map strategically where the zones have been falling in, and they're right where they want to be. They're not going to have to worry about moving up with other teams, which is going to buy them a little bit of time. Now we're on board with BPRC. Looks like he's got his eyes on Stylen.
Not sure what exactly they're doing here. I think they've pinned someone inside a building, but Kim Jong is moving in with the UMP behind them. So they might be going to wrap around the building and finish them off, but they have definitely finished off most of the team. I'm not sure.
I think BPR might be trying to capitalize and go for a flank here on Stylen. They're not playing together on the same team, so
I didn't notice myself. BPR is in fact the only person left on his team.
That's
I'm
correct.
not familiar with the teams myself.
It is a
I
little
thought
bit
they
difficult
were,
to tell
surrounding the
with
building.
the spectating that they've given us. Hopefully in the future, there are some implementations that do make it a little bit easier for us to be able to identify, who exactly is in which team. We can see with the color coordinated team selections, it does make it a little bit easier, but it can still be quite a bit confusing, especially when some of the names can be a bit hard to read as well. A lot of them are spelt very unconventionally, so it's hard to get used to. You can see Kim George down there moving up onto the house as well. BPRC made quite a bit of distance there as he's moved out of Severny. There's a drop at the far north in the ocean. Maybe BPRC is going to be going for that with a boat. Perhaps if he does, it's going to give him an advantage depending on what he can find there, because it's going to be uncontested. Right here in Rozok, we can see that there is a casualty. And
looks like Homo
Demon
Drom has got... Homo Demon is under quite a lot of fire here, but they may be all right. I think he's just healing up now.
And that'll be Demon from the Atletico OW team.
Definitely, I think they're just healing up right now. Not exactly sure where the enemies are, but I think they're just recovering from a recent fight.
Rozok's generally pretty uncontested at this stage, which is it's good for them if they got to move further north, depending on where the circle's going to fall in. Now, they're quite centralized. There is a lot of cover where they're at, but they're also in part of the lower ground of the map, which can be quite unfortunate. As we look at these teams condensing now in the southwestern area, we can watch two teams right about to fall onto each other just on the west side of Pachinki, and potentially Def and Hades moving up in a vehicle. No, they're going to bypass Pachinki altogether, so there might be a bit of a firefight there on the west side of Pachinki as we watch Smiles on the east side of the two vehicles moving up. Not going to go for the engage here, just going to sit tight there in the ruins.
Yeah, as all the teams move in, more fights will become populated in those dense areas. But it looks like Defs won't kill, and Hades might be moving in over the hill and might run into Cause's team. We'll have to watch out for that. But Smiley Face may actually end up coming in behind them, and it might be a bit of an unfortunate event for them. But as you can tell, those teams are moving in on the west side of Pachinki. They might be confronted. Yes, they are. They're fighting. They've noticed each other. They're going for it. Looks like Oglebli's just trying to peek ahead at the moment. And he does, in fact, get him. Wow, that was a close one with going down to just under half health.
He's doing the right thing here. He's using his third-person perspective to keep eyes on any flanks going to be coming after him while he heals up. It is a difficult situation while you're in a gunfight like that because you can't watch your flanks in your periphery, but you can at least watch the targets that you're previously shooting at. So he's not capitalizing on the downed opponents. I think they're waiting at the moment to try and find people that are going to be doing revives. Olga Boy getting cojones to maximum as he's trying to run up, moving for the flank, and he gets put down.
That looks like that indeed. Potato, I think, or Polonium, it's very difficult to read those names, is going for the flank indeed, but might be engaging with Rendog.
I think it was Chemical Nova that took out Olg there.
Yeah, they tried to wrap around the warehouses, I believe, but it didn't work out too well for them as he was left in the open. And now that Palladium's going down as well, that's no...
Zerg has an opportunity here to go for a far wide flank where you can see both exits. They're only covering one exit at the moment, which is working against them. For the guys that are inside the warehouse themselves, they have the ability to protect themselves from both exits. So it's actually advantage to the guys that are inside the warehouse, unless maybe Zerg's team can move further off and get a flank where they can watch both exits to that warehouse. Then they have the ability to get someone as they come either left or right, going out south or north.
I do think Zerg's anxious to try and revive his teammate who's stuck out there behind a tree, as Oglebley did get revived by his teammate. But it looks like Zerg's making a move to the tree now. Rendog might spot this, however, or Bundy out the back. Doesn't look like it's going to go well for them. I think you made it though, however. He's just reviving him now. Rendog doesn't look to be moving on this, however.
Rendog's putting himself in a very peculiar situation. They're running straight out of cover in the line of sight for the other three players.
And he's
going to try and capitalise here.
Very well played. He's now knocked two. They've got two stuck out behind the tree. Be interesting to see what... Oh, here comes the third.
Hold down as well.
Yep, both of them are down. So now the third members of the team running out.
Rendog's got back up now because they've moved out. Some of his teammates have moved out to the north side as they start flanking around towards the rocks. So they've actually got themselves a bit of a tunnel vision. But they'll be right there. Going to be taken out. That's one down. Chemical Nova now perhaps looking for the res. No, he's standing ground here. I think it must be Ren's first down there, so he's got a lot of time.
Oh, no. He gets taken out with a clean shot there with the UMP, but that was quite unfortunate, getting Zerg having to rush out there, getting knocked, and then the rest of his team following.
Chemical Nova finally capitalising on taking out Olgaby there because he did get the down originally on him, As we can see, as we zoomed out, looks like nobody's gone for that crate. It's possible they might have in the meantime, but we can see that Neon and that have moved further north as well as they came out of the junkyard. There is just to the east of Stauber. They're in, we're at GJ, I suppose, right in the cross. There's a drop there just to the right of, I think it's Terabad and his boys up there. So they might actually be moving in looking for that crate based on drop point. Might be concealed a little bit.
Plenty of teams converging on the Roshawk Bridge, however, now. It looks like they may have crashed into each other. About 8 different players, I believe, and then another team left in Roshawk, but they're driving past. I think they've just ignored each other. Not going to get too much. Smiley face trying
Smiley face going ham there with the M16.
Not too much success, but definitely Blank Face is on the run. He's not keen to stay around.
Definitely worth the risk taking that shots there for the against the motorcycle, because it's so easy to get a knockout at that speed. It's so easy to see your target compared to when you're shooting at someone with a UAZ. So got to commend his efforts there in trying to take somebody out on the motorcycle.
It's interesting to see why Blankface was so far away. He may have been going for an airdrop, but he's rushing back to his team now and nearly got punished for bad positioning there. Not much action going on now.
Godless just got uncry with an AKM. So a bit of an upset to No Joke Esports. They're going to be down to perhaps 3 players at the moment as Godless' team start moving up further. Looks like Electric and Illustral moving up near Champs, which is going to be part of the Smash Talk Syndicate team. So the 2 division, Gilly Division championship teams very close proximity to one another right now. And I'm not 100% sure. It looks like maybe it's just Illustral and was Illustral and Electric there? Might be just down to 2 players.
Yeah, I believe it's just 2 left in the team. But if you actually over at Georgia Pole, this Big Daddy is moving in on behind a team, and that might be interesting itself. But Illustral and Electric just,
it looks like they got a carload full just without Uncry. Correct me if I'm wrong, but BPRC has made his way down into the western central circle from Severny. So he's put in a lot of footwork there to get himself down that far into the centralized circle area. As we can see, some of the teams moving through the western drop zone where there's going to be, actually it's just finished, so there might be a chance here to watch a little bit of contact as the zone closes in. It's a good time to capitalize on any teams that are going to be starting to come through from the rear of the circle as we jump on board with Big Daddy Avi.
Des comes in with the support on the motorbike, but yes, Big Daddy and his team did rock up on these guys. They might be able to punish it by getting them in the back as they run.
He takes out Hades there.
It doesn't go well for him, however, but it looks like Des is just leaving him in the field.
It was Danknam that got the knockout there. Danknam gets the kill and Hades capitalizes on that one. So they did hesitate for a moment, probably waiting for him to jump onto the motorcycle to get maximum effect there.
That's definitely just leaving him in the field, though. Very well played by Big Daddy, capitalizing on that good positioning, as they will have to jump in their vehicle themselves and get out of there before the blue zone hits. But a lot of teams moving in now. Roshawk definitely the popular area, but their vehicle seems to have flipped. They're trying to ride its way with a HE grenade. Not so much success, so I think they're just going to have to give up and run for it.
Meanwhile, there's a drop just landed on Sunken City. It'll be interesting to see if people further condense down there. And I've got eyes on BPRC. If he's still alive, he put in a lot of effort getting his way down from Severny. He might have a chance here at capitalizing on people going for the crate.
Definitely, he might have good vision on the Watertown there from the warehouse up at Roshawk, but he may also be able to see a lot of the other teams crossing the road now, or one team, if I'm mistaken, crossing the road. I think he's going for more of a good positioning just to rack up those points early in the season.
The guys from Stuke and Big Daddy Avi's team are now going to be more sort of compromised as they took their time in staying on the outside of the western area of the circle. They've got a little bit of contest here by the sound of things, just below the shooting range. Deaths Won't Kill You moving up on some hard cover here, probably looking to contend this ground to make sure that they don't get anybody else straggling in from the outside of the circles. They sit right on the edge of the circle, so these guys are in a bit of an aggro mood right now, probably going to need to re-up on some ammunition and some meds, as we can see that Deaths Won't Kill You. He's got a level 3 helmet, but his backpack probably lacking in a little bit of leveling there. He could do with the level 2 backpack, so perhaps they get the effect here on Big Daddy's team, get a little bit of extra loot, bit of extra capacity to carry, and then that'll carry their team further in as the circle starts to evolve slowly towards the center.
Yes, Big Daddy's team definitely weren't planning on their UAS flipping and then exploding, so they're in a compromising position after run here for the circle. They may well be taken out completely by Death, which will be a good redemption for Hades himself, but this doesn't look to go well, and they may be confronting in just a few seconds.
Looks like Death Won't Kill You. Right in on the aggro. He's running now, exposing himself. Knows that the rest of the team there are going to be in the blue. Taking cover against the tree here. So he might be doing the right thing, buying some time for these guys to bleed out on circle damage.
yeah, the rest of his team is coming in to help there, but he did nearly get punished for his crimes. But it looks like two of them are down now. Lone Kebab's just proning in the grass, trying to shuffle his way towards safety. I do believe another member on their team, though, didn't make it into safety. He might be wrapping around.
Headlow, meanwhile, taking out Big Daddy Avi.
Yeah, Lone Kebab. Maybe
looks like he's not going to make it much longer there because they're going to have to go for either revive here and a run. But then with the contention they're going to have, there's going to be no need to met up. It's just going to be survival of the fittest here. Go for hard cover. Might be the best play.
It definitely does look, though, that he's got a teammate inside the circle causing quite a bit of trouble for Lone Kebab as Kebab takes shots of deaths. But it may well work out for them.
Greasing up the situation. Adds a bit of Tabuli to the mix, but it's not enough.
He falls, unfortunately, and there goes the rest of the team.
Headlow put in some work there. He's been ripping that kill feed for the last 2 minutes.
Definitely. Keep It Real did give his team quite a chance there, I believe, as he ran into the zone and he got into a decent position to shoot up the hill at them, but it sadly wasn't enough.
You see the guys from Marcel's Bakery there. It's Ballbag, Smiley, Smiles, Fallen, NZM, and Thor Raider, and 1983-7.
Looks like Champ's team is just driving straight past the other guys at Rockbox.
Syndicate going balls deep here. Jumping on board with Crossy 93 now. Holding his corner. Down on the... looks like the Hardspawn Dacia? Central Eastern Hardspawn Dacia.
I think he's just trying to sneak up on these guys and maybe get a quick shot in the back. But it did look like Champs actually did fall to Smiley Face as they drove past. And they quickly swooped into Ludi's body.
Definitely starting to move away from the condense that we saw much earlier. They've sort of gone towards some hard cover here. It's worked out really well, I guess, for this stage of the game because it's going to just put the advantage at anybody who's in the right place at the right time, in the right sort of cover. Now that you can see a big spread of roughly about 5 groups with 67 players left alive, it's just going to be kill feed after kill feed for the next 2 evolutions of the circle as people have to run out from their cover and move into the next zones. But you can see Matt Damon, they've got themselves a UAZ at their disposal. So if that UAZ is still operational, they're going to be able to just drive straight out, and that's going to give them a good chance of being able to get from one area to the next with the hard cover, depending on where the circle's going to close in on. Interestingly, there's nobody at school and nobody at apartments.
Definitely. I think AK Gary and his team are waiting for that team, the other guys at that compound actually to leave and poke at the windows and might be able to get a quick shot off. But if worst comes to worst, they will just jump in that US and drive off, I'm assuming. As a lot of teams move into the zone in the late game, obviously the massive damage it deals is not good for your survival. So you will see more people contesting those buildings, as for squads at least, people aren't too happy with sitting in a bush or in the middle of a field. So a lot of those lone buildings will be contested highly.
The Taiwanese Titans, just slightly further to the east-northeast, they're playing quite under the radar at the moment. They've managed to sort of go for quite a while. Just sort of east-central area now as BRPC starts moving in on them. BRPC putting in a lot of movement work. We can see these guys up here just to the east or central area north of the circle, just above Yaz, in contact. 2 separate car moving as we can see the furthest north team starting to come in now from the bridge heading to the south. BPRC very low on health, but he's managed to make some bold moves. Will they pay off? It does. He keeps himself alive at the front door. He knows that there's a friendly in there, but he doesn't quite make it any further. Good effort, though, from BPRC. I think the airtime that he's gained in this shows that he plays very well with a spread-out situation. Made his way all the way to the north, out into Severny, all the way back into the central west, and straight back into some of the final evolutions of the circle. So very strong plays there as far as ground cover. We're jumping on board with Sardude, holding up the petrol station at the moment, just near the northern area circle.
They did indeed drive straight past this team they're watching right now in vehicles and did hold up the position at the buildings as they know they're going to come straight past them. But the NZ girl and her team are holding against the river, trying to get some protection. But Headlow spots her, takes her out nice and easily as behind that tree. It's quite compromising, but as they're all swimming in the water, he knows for sure there's no chance of retaliation.
Headlow, another strong player who's, for me personally, gone under the radar from my experience with the CGL. In this game alone, the time of air that he's been playing, we can see him just filling up the kill feed again, finally kills NZ Girl. So Headlow put in the sort of work that I believe I saw Cozy putting in yesterday in CGL round 1 for the Bandana division. He might be someone to watch for the further 2 games of the night.
Rad's well played by him, actually staying outside the zone, heals up, tries to get some shots in the back, does get punished for it, but does take deaths down with him before he does so. K2 and Terabad have swum away though by now, and they maybe look to get up on the embankment while they try to heal their friend Death, but Headlow and Sardu not taking the chance and still watching out for those guys in the water.
As we pull back, we can see the circle moving towards still closer to the central area of the map. somewhere sort of between Milter and Yaz, I suppose. It's not too far to the west of the mansion where some of the teams have moved in. A lot of players coming from Yaz, which saw a lot more play this game than it has previously in the CGL. So interesting to see how some of these players are moving now through the empty fields between Yaz and the current circle itself. There's a bit of condensing coming down probably around the south to the southeast area of the map. And in 10 seconds, we're going to see this circle close in as we have approximately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams outside in the north and south to the west side of the current circle.
Definitely an interesting circle, in fact, with only 2, possibly 3 compounds inside. And that will make quite an open battle with only trees and possible shrubs for cover. But you'll see lots of teams moving in behind other teams who unfortunately will get shot in the back. But it will develop into quite an interesting finale with only 2 or 3 compounds, which will be highly contested and watched, obviously, by multiple eyes out in the fields.
Smiley and Smiles now taking some incoming shots. Looks like it's Chemical Nova moving in a little bit closer just to the slight left flank, but they've also got some incoming fire from the right as well, just down the defilade. Also, Zeph and the boys from Taiwanese Titans still playing it under the radar as the circle moves in on their current location.
Yes, they are indeed. Bullbags and his team do know, in fact, that they have the circle advantage and are just holding those guys out there as they do fall to the massive damage that circle provides in the late game. They are still staying out there themselves, though, and when that circle completes, it will start chunking them. So hopefully they have enough meds to hold on, but they definitely want to make sure this team drops, and indeed they just have. So they probably won't go out to loot them, and they'll just make a quick runner for the inside of the zone. Smiley
Looks
Face,
like,
I don't believe is sure if he's finished him off, but if you check the kill feed, he will know.
Just following the kill feed, I think we could see No Joke Esports there in a bit of a firefight with Kinzetsu, and I think it was Alistral and Electric took out 2 of the guys. I think Psycho Goon was definitely one of the boys that went down from Kinzetsu as a drop lands in the very central area of the map. You can see Zeph's team and the Taiwanese Titans are now pushed outside the circle. Closest team is going to be Aqua, and it'd be interesting to see if they go for the final crate or not. They actually, if they were aware of the current situation around them, they could go for that and capitalize on it, as they are literally the closest team and have a lot of ground to be covered for anyone to be a real threat to them at this stage, especially while they've got themselves so close to the center of the circle. Meanwhile, on board with Zeph, these guys aren't moving out of the current compound that they are at. They do have a UAZ with them, but it looks like they're going to wait the circle out a little bit closer, trying to haggle some of these stragglers are going to be moving in from the west side.
They definitely do have a strong position. However, it is outside the zone, so they won't be able to stay there forever, but they may be able to capitalize on some kills on Predge J and his friends. But it does look like that Chicken Katsu are in a prime position with Aqua and them in the compound, with Traz actually running out to check that airdrop. It has been down for a few minutes, but unlikely that anyone's checked it out, so Traz may have been able to loot some pretty important items there.
Adults Angels, BL NKFCE, he's just knocked out Aaron B with the shotgun S68.
Definitely playing the zone to his advantage there, with half of it inside the garage. George actually now finishing off the team, moves in to save his friend. But Predge and Power AU did hear the commotion. They are moving in to see if they can sweep up some final kills, as they'll probably notice these guys and they make a runner for the zone with only 10 seconds to go. They may be able to capitalize.
BL heads it up with that last takedown, but it looks like it's not going to pay off for him here. He's so low. If they come out and creep next to that Darcia, he's probably the first one to go down. And we can watch Defs with the... No, Defs... I was going to say Defs won't kill you. His team's going to be moving on the crate, but they're jumping out early and going to hold the outside of the circle. Sard Dude holding the north side as we jump on board with Headlow, one of the stronger players for the first round of High Top CGL Season 2, putting in a lot of work. Headlow, someone to watch out for this match.
Definitely. Just check out Resolves and Ballbags, I believe. So your MVP of the game, I believe, is actually racking up quite a few kills as he goes again. I don't believe he got any that time, but he definitely put in some assist points.
Headlow almost capitalising there on the Bakery boys. You can see Fallen NZ putting in 2 kills there in the feed. Sar Dude holding on the north side, putting in a kill as well. Zeph from the Taiwanese Titans just going down, unfortunately. So it looks like they didn't make it all out of that compound.
Definitely. He did play the zone well there. Just stayed out long enough to capitalise on those kills.
And there you go. So Zephyr finally killed by Fallen. So Fallen put in a little bit of work now as well. Might be one of the underdog guys to watch as well. He's been flying under the radar, but he's been putting in work. We noticed that Zephyr and the Taiwanese Titans were holding the compound very quietly, but you could see the boys from the Bakery team, they're putting in a lot of aggro this game.
Yeah, with Power AU unfortunately dying outside the play zone, a few more knockouts now, with only 17 left to go with the last zone, with completely no buildings in it. It will be quite an open finale with that open field. There'll be lots of shooting, and the few sparse trees that are in there will be priceless cover.
I'm going to put my money on one or two players for the final as everything breaks down. I think it's going to be one of the guys from the bakery team, one of the Smiles boys. I reckon are going to be in the top 5, and I'm going to put my money on Headlow as well. Headlow's been putting in a lot of action tonight, so I think he's quite capable with the current status of the game with 17 players left alive and such a small circle. It'd be interesting to see how they play it out. Headlow seems to be able to keep himself out of trouble while making all the right picks.
Headlow indeed, though, goes down as it seems as Recon takes him out. He may be all right, though, but he gets finished off, so unfortunately, after a few, you may have jinxed him, Suko.
And there goes Smiley Face as well. So perhaps I shouldn't speak anybody's name when it comes down to the final 20, because both of those players that I mentioned as going to be my strongest picks have just gone down. As we jump on board with Ballbag. And Ballbag's putting his bags to the floor as he hits the dirt there. We jump on board with Electric from No Joke Esports, holding up on the Eastern Rocks. He's looking down on the open valley area while there's two teams in contention. Running straight into the bakery boys. Ballbags puts Electric down.
Definitely was unlucky there for Electric to unleash his SKS only a few meters away, but he tries to loot him, and he might be punished by the zone, it looks like. That's not fun. Oh,
that's the luck of the draw right there.
That is incredible. Oh, and no, he goes down. That was back and forth there for a few seconds. I was certain he was going to die, and then he survived, and then he goes down again. But Recon picking up several kills there. There's only 10 left in the top 10 with plenty of people on low health or actually indeed knocked out.
So he's coming down to the bakery boys with Smiles, Fallen, and Ballbags. Crunch's team over there at the high side of the compound, they've actually got the high ground advantage. So if they wait it out for some firefight happening down here in the valley, with these guys having tunnel vision on one another, by the look of it, they might be able to capitalise. It's a 3v3v3 at 9 players left alive.
Smiley spot Mikey here. Oh no, he pops up and gets punished for it. Mikey's just a snake in the grass and he moves in. Ballbags tries to run up to help his friend Fallen, but he may well get punished for this.
Ballbags.
Incredible shot there. Takes out Mikey. And there goes that team. Smiles in the meantime, taking Ren. And looks like
no, we've still got one straggler, so it must have been a 3v3, v2 and 1.
Yeah, it looked like Mike was by himself. And I thought he was a part of the team that was at the tree, but it looked like he was by himself.
Just not kill you, keeping his mouth shut from the boys that went down over the northwestern hill. So I think he's going to be playing the prone game as far as he can possibly get into. Now, he's actually got the highest ground advantage as far as I can see at the moment, with a nice defilade between him and the boys from Crunch's team.
Definitely lucky for him, in fact, as he's the only person left on his team with Recon and Ballbags, both with 3 guys left on their team. They're all getting each other up, all medding up. Yozuri doesn't seem to be healing too fast. He may be running out of meds, but that would be surprising considering he's got some friends with him.
Looks like Defs and Fallen NZM are the highest HP players at the moment, so definitely keep an eye on them. They could either play to the advantage with the guys from Bakery team, using him to soak up a little bit of aggro, as Smiles actually goes for an offside flank. Smiles might be trying to take one for the team here and just press the advantage. If it works for him, he's going to be able to get a little bit of effort coming in from Defs. I reckon it's going to be just too tempting to pass up.
Definitely helpful here for Defs, though, with Smiles going up the opposite side of that team. It will keep most of the eyes off him, but as a nade blows up near, someone may have spotted him. Or they might just be Hail Mary nades from the other team staring at each other, which land nowhere near. He finds a nice bush, so he gets flashbanged. Oh no, he's definitely spotted now as Zuri takes the kill. Very unfortunate for them on flat ground, so it was very hard to stay prone with little shrubs or trees in the way.
It's pretty much going to be Smiles here versus Recon now. Recon's with the AKM. Smiles with the AKM with 48 damage, and Recon's got 35 damage on the UMP. But
looks
Smiles
like 2 have dropped, though, with Recon the only one left. He's actually got 5 kills this game, putting in most of the work for his team, so it's not over yet, but with 2 people down, he drops Smiles.
Smiles'
it's too
wide
fast
press
to
flank,
keep
I think,
track.
has worked for them, though. Definitely put in that effort there, taking one for the team. Now, pressing hard towards the crate as these guys are going to be going a 2v1 right now, and it works out for the guys from Bakery. So it looks like both the Smiles boys didn't make it through, and either did Headlow, but definitely the guys from Bakery putting together some tasty treats for you guys tonight in PUBG OCE Season 2 CGL for the high top division. So as we look at the leaderboard, anyone standing out to you tonight from what you've seen so far?
I'm not sure, but I see Headlow with 9 kills, and as you've said throughout this game, he's definitely been putting the work in with a nice 3rd place. It was definitely a great game for him. Terrific positioning, though, I'd say, by Smiles and the rest of the guys on his team there with the flank and moving in to capitalise that with Ballbags and Fallen. Smiley Face didn't get any kills that game. He may well have gone down early, but the rest of his team doing quite well to finish it up.
very surprised to see Big Daddy Abby's team going in at 23rd. I thought very early on they were going to be making a big impact. But obviously in PUBG, man, what can happen will happen. So we'll be back soon with round 2 for Season 2 CGL for the high top division.
Don't go anywhere. Hey, Suko, is the echo kind of bad? I'm not sure. I can definitely do some work to fix it.
welcome back, Gillies and Pans, to CGL Season 2. We are in the high top round 2 for the first playoffs of Season 2 CGL. We just came out of seeing the guys from Marcel's Bakery taking the win in round number 1. I think the final results that we had there was Marcel's Bakery with 15, MQR and 10, Succulent Sniping Esports 14, Flight Path Chicken with 3, and Chicken Katsu with 2 there. So some standout results. Player of the match for that round, in my opinion, definitely going to go to Headlow. Very strong plays, very entertaining there. Do you have any picks there for outstanding plays for that game, Jungle?
I'm not sure. I'd definitely say Headlow took the crown there as he carried his team well and truly up to 14 points, which is only one below the team that indeed won the championship. But with that, I believe Headlow's really the only main pick there for MVP.
Just going to have to remind me when we get down the top 20 not to call out any players that I think are going to win, because it looks like I've just got a voodoo curse for them all.
It didn't go well for them last time, but hopefully your picks this time will go a bit better, as I'm sure they will.
So this round, we're going to be going into another match with clear. We're going to have clear skies today, and then we'll be settling on, is it dusk or night? I'm not quite sure what the name of that setting is, but it's going to be switching things up a little bit for the last round as we move into that. So in 7 seconds, going for the plane drop, and we'll see where guys start condensing. Just remember, last match, only team that seemed to go for the Sosnovka military was No Joke Esports, and they did it uncontested. So let's see if players in this round learn from that experience that maybe the high loot areas need to be populated and can be taken a bit more advantageously.
I definitely am personally a fan of the mill-based start with plenty of teams going there towards a bit of action, but it's unlikely to see much of that this time, however, with the plane coming in from the east, straight across, just above the middle, going straight over Roshock, possibly to George. So many teams jumping early, I'm assuming, maybe going Milta or to Prison, I believe now it's called. I'm not sure what the name changes are with shelter and tunnels and stuff like that, but lots of teams jumping, opting to go towards the Milta side of the island.
Yeah, I know these guys are going to be playing for points, but something needs to be done. These guys need to untuck their shirts and they need to fight around apartments in school. That's what the people want to see.
Definitely. No one's going north yet. I'm surprised to not see anyone go Severny, but just as I say that, it looks like a few guys are heading towards shooting range, as obviously many teams drop Georgia Pole.
Georgia Pole, it's just a free ticket straight into a high-value loot zone. So right across the central area of the map, cutting all the way through the line of L. It's really opportunistic for every team to just sort of stay on board and sort of fly into some of these larger zones. And as we can learn from last match, some of these players seem to be a little bit too pacific to go towards some of the higher loot areas, which you would expect to see in regular ranked games.
Definitely looks like a team with Raz and the rest of his gang all heading towards Zaki, which is an unusual location. Not many games where you get an opportunity to go there, but they're definitely choosing it over going towards the more populated zones south and possibly north. A bunch of other teams obviously heading south, straight down the edge of the map. I'm not sure they're going to make it as far as Primorsk, but they're opting to go towards Gatka and some positions around there with other teams landing in Roshok. We've got Milta Power, Milta itself, plenty of locations, all spreading out. Not many teams landing too close to each other besides Georgia Pole, but lots of action could be mounting at Milta as they start to land.
So we've got No Joke Esports. They're taking out Severny down there in the southwest. Got the Zephyrs team, the Taiwanese Titans, taken up around the power plant, power station area. And MQR, Yuzuri's team with Recon, What It Is, Akara, Romulus AU, and Crunch, they're moving into Georgia Pole. So there's contention there between 3 teams in the Georgia Pole General District. Far to the north, you can see Razil's one of the players that made it to the, I'd say, 3-quarter game where we saw him hold out on the petrol station towards the end of the last game. They're so far out on the northwest, but hopefully they will pay for in this round.
Definitely a super finds an early AR and takes advantage completely by taking out Pig Dog. Unfortunately, it was actually the P92 that got the kill, surprisingly, but as they move into Bunnings Warehouse, I believe it's called.
Bunnings Warehouse.
I don't think there'll be many things for sale here, unfortunately. But
I've just got to take the advantages. We've got to get a message here from our sponsors, Bunnings Warehouse, where lowest HP is only the beginning.
Seems to be that for Pred. He looks to only have a crossbow, unfortunately, as Super takes full advantage with his M16. Doesn't look like he has too much ammo, though, as I believe he will finish off the kill.
just got to love it when in spectator mode where it actually gives you a usable angle to view from. It just feels so comfortable.
He's helpful as Super now switches his sights to power. Elm with a double barrel shotgun won't be able to do much at this range, but I think Powers is going for a runner. He doesn't seem to be have too much concern for his team as he tries to run to safety.
Look, their name is Flight Path Chicken, and Power AU is doing exactly that. Unfortunately, chickens can't fly, so he's doing as best as a chicken can do, and he's making a run for it.
Definitely. Down at Milton now, Police takes a kill as those two teams that landed Milton start to converge on each other. It's a bit of a shambles here at the moment with one team on the south and one at the north, but looks like they're moving across now, and they're all within a few buildings of each other, so some action will be inevitable.
Now, Policeman's one of the players with Rabs and Invisible Scars, B-Merc and that. So they're actually from Gatkaki, I believe it's pronounced. I think it's a play on words on a very inappropriate. I'm just going to leave that there. I've just realised what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so as we move out to Milton.
Move on from that. But it does look like those two teams will get into the action, but it may be slightly delayed as they're a bit nervous to engage on each other. They're all spread out here. It looks like, indeed, two teams have made their way to the South Island, not to the mercy of the circle over, so they will have to make their way back quite soon. But Blankface and the rest of these guys are completely capitalising on that free military, as another team are also moving to near and around Novo.
Is it pronounced Blankface? You totally got me stoked on that because I didn't know how to pronounce it before, and I completely understand why. They've put on the play that No Joke did in the last round, so it's working out very well for them down there as far as loot-wise goes. We jump on board with Rabs moving into the double-story red.
They definitely seem to be moving in on Policeman and the rest of his gang. I'm not exactly sure how it's all positioned, as it's a little bit confusing with all the action that's going on with these buildings. But it looks like
Rab's actually with Policeman. They
right.
are.
I did believe I was just a bit lost there, but it looks like the team that was trying to confront them has moved back to the south side, opting to get a bit more looted before they engage again. I believe they did lose a teammate, so that is a smart choice indeed if they don't have the equipment to take them on at the moment.
I think that's Deli Fogo, if I'm not mistaken, from Roll the Dice team. So he's one of the players that is paired up with BRPC. We saw him putting a lot of travel time in round one, and Deli seems to be doing sort of the opposite. He's on his feet now, so he's doing a little bit of a chicken there, as we saw Power doing earlier.
I wouldn't be surprised if DJ spotted that, so he may be relaying that to his team, and someone may try to flank around to take him out, but it looks like he may have gotten away with it for now.
I think Dr. Fidget moving in on the crate drop, and it's right in the middle of the red zone. It's double unlap, two games in a row on two drops. Right in the middle of the drop zone as we jump in on cam, we can see the bombs dropping. Hopefully it pays off Fidget because he's only got himself a pump act.
Looks like he got the M249 and the Tier 3 helmet, so not terrible, but it can be a deadly weapon indeed against those vehicles if he does get in the position to spot one as the zone moves in. But he may well have been hoping for a sniper, as most of us are.
Some interesting facts about the M249. Did you say it was the M249 he grabbed, the fully auto LMG?
Yeah, the massive.
That's it's got a hit damage of 44, so it puts out an average, close to an average assault rifle, but it's got a hit impact power of 10,000 units. It's not as accurate as you probably want to have, but at close range, it's definitely going to do a lot more damage and have a greater impact than what you can get with something on ACP or 9mm.
Definitely. I think M249 may well be one of a very underrated gun in the game at the moment, but it definitely has its advantages. As Super and the rest of his team move into loot, as they may well have capitalized on the rest of those kills that we saw earlier in the start of the game. I'm not too sure who those bodies are, but I'm sure we'll find out very soon.
It's a little bit of a dangerous play with Elm and that healing on the roof there. Like, it's very hard to have situational awareness in a game with 89 players in a very close proximity to one another. And by that, I say within, say, a kilometre, because that's still going to be kill range for a Car 98 or a M24 or something like that. So these guys healing on the roof there, funks to Elm, and that, as we can see, Aaron B moving up. It's just a very ballsy play to try and stay complacent while healing on a roof.
It looks like he's indeed trying to get some revenge for what seems like the rest of his team, which are up there currently confined to a little box. But he only seems to have a UMP, but he also has a silent scar, so he has the right scope. He could do some damage, but it looks like it's a holo, so it won't be easy. but he definitely could, if they all choose to sound that roof, which is unusual considering how open those walls are. They're not great for being protected if you get engaged on. But as they opt to start moving down the stairs, he may be unlucky, but he may well move in to get a bit closer.
I guess luckily Elm and Function managed to be able to heal up, and credit to him for it, because I didn't think that play was going to work out as Aaron was moving his way up. But serendipitously, they've just managed to get their HP back up to max levels they possibly could. But Aaron coming in, big toss here. Going for the 3-point shot from down the way. It lands close to the door by the look of things. This one might overshoot.
They looked to the ball moved off the roof as they heard those nades come in. But with that silencer on the Scar, he opted to take a few shots. I'm pretty sure they'll know where he is now. But as he gets a bit closer, he may well opt to rush him with the UMP after getting a bit low with the HE. But it doesn't look like getting too lucky with those at the moment.
I got a feeling Funkster might be the one to watch here, because he took the first player to take the initiative and look at windows. So he has a bit of better situational awareness than the other boys. And I know that he's expecting Aaron to get closer into that building. The other guy's still sort of hanging around the top area. But Funkster, he's looking to try and press the assault here.
Definitely. As Aaron moves in under the cover of the smoke, as it does emit quite a noise, so he could well get away with moving in at quite a speed, but I would be surprised if the team didn't know he was very close indeed.
I think Aaron, if he plays his cards right, he could just sit here and chill. Likely, if he doesn't assault up the stairs, they're going to want to try and find exit from the top of the roof, as long as they don't get pressed from another team. So if Aaron plays his cards right here, being a solo, it could work to his advantage if he waits for someone to come around for a flank. But looks like Kiwi is very keen, which is going to work very badly against him. And Aaron capitalizing on that. He might go for the finish here if he does. Can't get the punish off as Elm finishes him.
It looks like he managed to hit Funkster up on the second floor there, but he didn't indeed get finished off. So he took down one with him. It was well played by him. He did jump a bit early, but he definitely took his chances. He may in the future wait for a few more people to go past and then shoot them in the back, but he took his chance. He got one. That may well be his end goal there.
It's going to be, I think, some of the first airtime we've seen tonight from the PUBG Monks, AK-47 Gary, Big Gandalf, Undercover Fob, Crossy 93, Dark and Stormy, Matt Damon's team. We did see a little bit of Matt Damon in round one, where they were holding UAZ on the hard UAZ or hard Dacia spawn in east and central of the map. But we can see as they're moving up to contend with the guys from, I believe it was Tony's Tyrants.
AK Gary not holding back with the 8 times on the M16 there. Didn't get too close to knocking him out, but he did get at least one hit on him. Not looking too good there as they scamper back and forth over those hills. AK Gary is just holding the fort there for the rest of his team as they start to get back in their vehicles and move off, I believe. But the guys in the US is not keen to just get involved with that just now. Gets a door shut in his face for his troubles.
Jungle, is it just me, or of the M16 making a really strong comeback in CGL? I've seen a lot of players, picking it over the M4, but not this magnitude tonight. I've seen a lot of M16 play.
Definitely, I'm not sure if it's just because it's been the gun of the night. Not much of the others have been spawning, but in the recent weeks, the M16 has been making quite a comeback. Lots of the players originally opting for the Scar and the M4 because of that auto fire, but players making do with the high kill damage at that distance with a decent scope.
Paws are now trying to get some picks on the outside of the blue as people are starting to come in from the southeast, I suppose, of farm. But no dice there. As between him and Shelter now, a lot of players moving on the inside of the circle. It's a strong strategy. For players that don't know, if you follow the most inside edge of the circles where they converge on one another, it's actually the slowest convergence point. So you usually find a lot of teams condensing either dead center, coming from the furthest outside as they come into a single file line and fall onto one another. Otherwise, they follow very close to the edges of the circles. Now you can see Come On is coming up from the south right into the west-southwest area of the Pachinki grounds. And if he jumps out here, he's going to get himself in a little bit of contact.
Yeah. Lucky there is he jumps out behind one of the few buildings without players in it, but as he moves in a bit closer to Pachinki, he may well run into them. Lots of the players now obviously moving in to the center of the map as Blankface and the rest of the guys at Novo Military have obviously crossed over the bridges now, and the rest of the guys from Georgia are all moving in. So Pachinki may well be a high-pressure zone in just a minute or two as the rest of those teams arrive.
Bit of a stalemate here. as we pull back out, and we can still see some people. Looks like Big Daddy Abby moving in through the far northwestern area of the red zone.
It definitely looks like Starl and the rest of his team do know that they're there. I'm not sure if Come On and the rest of them have quite noticed that there's another team there. They obviously will have their suspicions, as it is Pachinki, but opting to get out of there while they can with that red zone spawning. Causa and the rest of them seem to be under a bit of attack here from the guys at Delta and Blankface. As they come in with their tier 3 loot, it looks like Causa's not too afraid, however, as Blankface looks to have gone down, and the rest of them are getting pummeled by the Causa at the moment and the rest of his team.
Ups Angels, we just saw Foots get a little bit of play there. So the boys, Joydism, Adults, Foots, Blankface, and Hastena, they're putting in a little bit of work at the moment here with Causa capitalising on the situation as we jump on board with Mr. Cheng Lo.
Definitely, it looks like even though they did loot military with all that great gear, they aren't getting much luck here as they move in right behind a team who were waiting for them. That infamous, the infamous Causa and the rest of his gang just holding down the fort as they do have a watchtower right beside them.
And you can see Cheng Lo putting in some pretty hefty support here for Causa. We've been focusing a little bit on Causa with his plays tonight, but from what Cheng's doing, they're working in pretty good unison together as Causa and Cheng and the rest of the boys from the cave start moving up on assault right now.
It looks like Blankface actually opting to get in the vehicle and just make a runner while he can. I'm not sure who else is with him in that vehicle, but opting to get out of there and get to the new zone while he can with Smiley Face and Causa. Both teams converge.
It's Power AU right in the midst of the thick of it with Team ST in the northern end of the circle, as we just jumped on board with Dr. Fidget Spinner going right down now inside this compound as he's in contact between two groups here by the look of things.
Yeah, it looks like he's gone down, and I'm not sure what's going on. HE grenades flying in on him. Looks like the rest of his team are a bit preoccupied with the rest of the guys in the building, so I'm not sure if Fidget Spinner will be able to get up here. They may make a run for him, but he's only got a barrel or so for protection, and they may well get knocked down if they try to get him.
I don't think Kazgun can get to him for the revive, but it's his first down by the look of it, so he's got some time. We can see that Bazook's team from the Lunatics, they're holding high ground in that building, but you can work against them as a bad choke point to be assaulted. It just depends how much aggro the guys want to put in against Lunatics.
It definitely doesn't look like they're doing too much at the moment, but as their name suggests, no ideas ninjas may have to get an idea pretty soon if they want to try to get their teammate out.
Psycho Goon putting in a little bit of work at the moment. We can see in the kill feed. Also, Sky is Blue just killed Neon Mimic.
Definitely interesting, as we didn't quite catch that, but Resolve's got the HE grenade out. He may well look to finish off Fidget Spinner or opting for a smoke or AK. Not deploying that right now. Kazgun actually makes a run for his teammate as he gets a bit low, trying to take the opportunity as Gran throws some nades in for cover.
I think Kaz has to get in there because of the value of the weapons that they've got at their disposal. I can't quite make out whether he's made that res or not, but Grantastic's definitely putting in a lot of diversion here.
I don't believe he has. He got knocked down for his troubles, as we did predict, but Grand doing quite a bit of work there with the HE grenades trying to help him out, but it was to no avail as Fat Texter moves in with the Scar. They try to fortify themselves on that second floor again and heal up.
So, yeah, as the boys from No Idea Ninjas move in, we pull back out and have a look at the guys condensing all the way around Yasna. There's a crate that's dropped to the east-southeast of Yasna at the moment. Blankface moving up on the far east side, following the road around. I think Blankface spotted the crate. He might be moving in. Doesn't look like it's contested at the moment.
No, there may well be some high-tier guns in there that a team may look to get, but as the rest of the guys group in around Yasmaya, a lot of conflict is happening. Actually, in between George and the Circle, there is two teams, it looks like, converging, and as the zone is starting to do quite a bit of damage, they may look to get out of here, but Sky is looking for that last kill as the rest of the team start to head off.
Yeah, we've just joined Sky's Blue. We did see in the kill feed earlier while the boys were putting in a bit of work back there at the compound. He did get a little bit of a note in the kill feed, so he's put in the work. He's going to be perhaps trying to get his way out here. I don't think everyone's going to be able to survive. They look very low health in comparison. Love is still down there on that far southwest bank, as we can see the teams moving in, congesting around the south area of Yasna. So No Joke Esports far north up still, but they're probably within the closing distance of the circle. They might run into Sky's Blue and Volcano as well, but they've got the time on their side as far as the circle's convergence. We can see about 4 teams in close proximity on the Yaz border at the moment as Blank Face, and we can see also Super Grab and I think Power AU from Chicken has made his way all the way up into Yaz, so he's been putting in a bit of footwork there. It's going to be very interesting to see. Now we see No Joke moving towards the east side as they go in closer proximity to Def's and Hater's team.
Definitely, as the rest of the teams all start to move in towards that circle, it looks like Suko and Lover are in a bit of trouble as they were left out there in the middle of nowhere between Roz and George. They may well die to the play zone as they run out of meds. But it looks like Heike and Senzi are moving in on policemen and the rest of the gang in those buildings and quickly turn away to the south, not wanting to get involved with that anytime soon.
Just going to throw out there that Champs and the rest of the boys from Smashbox Syndicate are holding up very well as we've jumped on board with No Joke Esports Uncry with Electric and Illustral. These guys are pressing hard to the east at the north area of Yaz at the moment, going down adjacent to the power lines right now. So it looks like they're going to go for the anti or the opposite of what was expected of them. One of Illustral's strong points is following the direction of the closing edge of the circle, but they've gone for the complete opposite here. So I think survival for points at the moment might be the order of call. As Illustral himself is the team captain, he might be just getting these boys to follow him for a completely different tactic. And it looks like it's going to work off right around Mansion. Everyone's already moved in. So serendipitously, the guys from No Joke Esports have just come in on the east side of the circle, avoiding all of that condense right in the middle there below Yaz, as we can see about roughly 8 teams on the west side getting into very close proximity to each other. But it looks like Nutshot Champs team, the guys there from Smashbox Syndicate, are held up quite nicely on the far west side of the circle. Look closer to the south-southwest. You can see Cheng Lo, Crimson as well, and Come On's team. They're all getting in a very close proximity as Causer comes up to back up Cheng now.
Definitely. It looked like Blankface actually got a few shots off at NZGL and the rest of their team as they moved into the zone, but as they drove away, fearing it was a full squad, it doesn't look like anything is going to develop too much there as Kim starts to move around the edge of the zone with the rest of his team looking towards the easterly direction. The rest of the team, another team in that compound, obviously to their northeast.
Now, Kim's from Conspiracy. They're another organisation putting a team together for the PUBG OC CGL. There's a couple of esports teams, organisations, and heavily structured, organised teams in here tonight. So this division itself, I find quite exciting. Sorry to muddle my words, but it's an interesting dynamic when you compare this to the different teams that we had in last night's competition as well. The way that they play it out, it's very different as far as I can see. The players are still in very close proximity to each other, but the actions are really coming down probably the last 50 players. At this point, last game, we're about 56 players in. We're 72 now, so these guys are definitely playing for points, whoever hit on the lower side of the ladder.
Definitely unfortunate there if you saw in the kill feed for Lover. It looks like his teammate Psycho, they may have found a vehicle and they made a run for the zone, but it looks like Lover went down, but Psycho stayed alive, so he may well just be going for the points now, the sole survivor getting into Roshop.
It's funny to see how players' positions transfer out. So the boys have now fallen in on Bazook's position, and Come On's still here as well. But you can see another team getting involved in the action. So it looks like the guys Bazook and Come On have held the position very well, just looking for picks here. But they've managed to probably find themselves a lot of loot just in the midst of this. We're jumping onto a gunfight here with Come On at the top of the attic. He's gone down to get capitalised on now. Finally killed by Tintin.
Definitely, it was an unfortunate position. Always those little attic rooms are great for the first person that runs up the stairs, but after that you're a bit stuck, unfortunately, with only one stairwell down. But it looked like it was a trade there, as he got one for one, so it wasn't all bad.
Smashbox Syndicate holding very tight on the outside edge of the circle. There's not much hard cover to utilise between them apart from the defilades. We can see the guys further to the south, No Joke, and also I think it's Grab just down there. They're going to be moving in probably in the next 30 seconds or so as the circle's going to start to converge. We're down to probably the last 3 real evolutions of the game with 65 players left. So Grandtastic might hold his ground here. Watch for the guys from No Joke moving up. They might be able to capitalise. A lot of the players I'm seeing at the moment don't have very much meds. I don't know if they're not having very good luck with it, because generally the players I'm seeing with very low health seem to have the level 1 backpack. It's something I've taken notice of.
Definitely. It looks like No Ideas Ninjas, consisting of Grams and the rest of the gang, are looking to hold this position, which could be very good for them, as unfortunately Astral and the rest of them have a vehicle, so they get out of harm's way. But it looks like XPL and maybe Ogably's teams may be moving in, so they might be able to, if they hold their ground for just a bit longer, they may well get a few kills here. Smiley Face looks to have a vehicle, obviously, and has moved straight through into the zone as they may be moving straight across where Godley's? I'm not sure how you pronounce that name's building.
I think it might be Godless.
Straight into Unwanted. Godless?
Yeah,
dropped one of the S. I'm not sure. They've driven straight into a team, though. This might not go well for them. As,
the round one winners are taking a lot of damage right here.
Definitely. It was quite unfortunate for them to drive straight into the little team, though. But as Fallen runs in on Traz, he gets a jumping kill with the UMP. Quite deadly there, as Fallen and Ballbags are left alive.
Ballbag's getting one of the early picks there in that conflict. And yeah, a little bit of style coming off Fallen there. Might be people's champ in this round.
Definitely. Tremendous skill there by the guys who got into such an unlucky position as they moved in on that Dacia. But look to bring it back.
So that was a hell of a trade. It looks like Aqua got the trade on Fallen. Fallen went down, and then Ballbags gets the trade. He goes down, and then Smiles picks up.
They definitely won't be complaining with that, as they were the unlucky team to rock up in a Dacia to have wiped that team and get away with a few people alive. That is definitely well played by them.
I'm interested in what Power's going to pull off here. We noticed him taking flight with the chicken as part of the chicken team tonight, and it's managed to work out for them. They've got themselves into the final evolutions of the circle, but you look at how many players are still alive. 48 people. We can see the kill feed starting to rip up now. Kazgun going for a knockout, and then he's actually going to be finishing off. No, he didn't even finish the same play. He got undercover there, and Chad taking out Mikey as well. Chad getting the kill on Power AU. Unfortunately, Chicken going down, getting wrecked by the Scar there.
Yeah, Chad definitely did the work there, killing 3, I believe, with Crossy coming in with the final kill, but as Police revives his teammate, he got off with only 1 death, I believe.
I imagine the chat's going to be going crazy right here watching this revive here from Police, because that is so dicey to do it outdoors.
Yeah, wasn't too patient to let his teammate get inside after a few seconds, just wanted to do it right there and then, no fear of the consequences.
Zerg here, now coming up on No Joke Esports. It's going to be, looks like it's a 1v3 at the moment.
Yeah, it's interesting what he's planning to do. He's got the Kar 98 and the M4.
Oh no, it might be a 2v4 actually. I think I'm mistaken.
Does he have a teammate? I believe he has a teammate that's knocked out. I'm not sure if there's anyone else left standing, but he's throwing some nades in, looking to do some damage, and trying to get a bit closer to Polo, who I believe is his teammate. He may have one friend indeed who's moving in from the east, putting some pressure in, but Polo's just sitting tight at the back of that building. As Astral goes down, in fact,
Zerg and Olgaby together, definitely. But
Astral very lucky there. Astral gets the door closed just as he gets right below.
Oh, and New Zealand Girl knocks out Olgaby as he's on the assault. So coming up from behind, New Zealand Girl put in some work there against the team that is assaulting No Joke Esports while they're trying to hold their position. As we jump on board with New Zealand Girl right now, NZ Girl's going to be putting in a little bit of work as she comes into a 3-way right now. As you look at No Joke, also Zerg's team. They're going to probably try and capitalize on a flank. Yes, NZ Girl right now playing the cards right, looking for a rear flank to try and pick off any stragglers that might come out through the rear doors there. As we can see, also Ballbags is in very close contention for this firefight. It's going to go down right now, guys. It's going to go down.
You are very excited. Now. Let's hope no one odd shots what you said in the last 30 seconds. But besides that, definitely an interesting fight here, putting in 3 teams moving in. NZ Girl takes another, but gets shot in the back, in fact, as she looks to go down.
There before she moved in as well. It would have been so advantageous to sit there and go for picks, because you got to remember, if you don't get points for your placement, if you play it as a solo, you can still pick up bonus 5 or bonus 10 points somewhere along the line if you stay and play it right. So the guys there from No Joke now pushing from east to west out of their compound. They played it right. Headlow back on cam, back on board with Headlow. He's going to put in some work, guys. I've got no doubt about that. I'm not going to call any winners this time, so I don't have any bad voodoo for anybody, but I think he's going to put in a hell of a lot of effort here as he comes into contact with a Listral up on the northwest side as Listral comes for a western flank. And Headlow putting a couple of rounds into Uncry, I believe.
Definitely no one expecting him sitting there behind the US. Looks to have picked up 2 kills there on some very high quality targets of Unicry and Astral. Unfortunate there for No Jokes Gaming, but as he moves in to revive his teammates, looks like everything worked out well for them as our previous games.
Do you know Headlow's strat for avoiding headshots? He keeps his head low.
I'm not experienced. Oh, wow. Okay.
Funkster right in the middle of the circle there. Now, bonus time, because Funk's going to be sitting there by himself holding that, and he can play it for points and he can play it for kills. So kill points is a small bonus, but if he plays hard for points, it's one of those decisions you're going to have to make up as you come across it. Like, am I going to sit here and try and go for the extra 5 or 10? I'm going to go for the singles. So it'll be interesting to see how this comes in as everybody folds in close to the next evolution of the circle. We're only looking at 12 players left alive, and we've got Policeman all by himself on the outside edge of the circle, as I think it's Hades comes in closing on the northwestern flank of him.
Definitely.
No, Headlow.
Like, yeah, Headlow and Hades are moving in. I'm not sure if Policeman has sussed out what's going on here, but if he has spotted them, it definitely will be quite a few easy kills, I believe, as they move in for the zone. But
Policeman getting some backup now.
Definitely. I think he's called out to his team. He's spotted a few. Hades starting to move up. He would have definitely spotted that. But they themselves aren't in the zone, so they have to be careful. They are on the slow side, so they do have time. But he's
definitely
backing off here.
Policeman right here. Advantage Policeman. He might get a trade. Goes out one. Goes out two. Policeman put in the plays right now. Hades trying to get some tension on the revenge, and he gets it.
Well played by them.
So it looks like Policeman actually putting the cuffs on these boys.
Definitely. It looks like he got all 3 kills there with Chad moving into support, but very well played by him as he capitalized on the positioning and did extremely well to get all 3 without going down himself. Looks like Fat Texter and his teammate are running in on the far side of the circle. Hake and Sensu haven't got a little bit of a wall there that they're taking full advantage of as the zone moves in. They may well spot these guys, but with Bazooks fully aware that that is a high likely zone for the people. Police, incredibly lucky for him and the rest of his team with that zone, with the other 2 teams having to move in on them. They won't know that, obviously, and they're still careful of their east and west. But in fact, they're all to the south.
I've got a feeling Fat Tex is going to do something here in his team. These guys are the underdogs. I think Policeman and the boys, they know that they've got some contenders on the opposite side of the road. I think Fat Texter and who's he with at the moment? Is that Bazooks? The guys from Lunatics, I think they have an opportunity here to just pull something very unexpected, especially being in the deflated low ground, as long as they haven't been spotted by Policeman's team. And Policeman probably not so worried about the flank on which the guys from, I think it was Hades' group and Headlow's moving up, probably doesn't think it's going to be much of a threat from that area. So if these guys pull the same flank as they did previously, this might work out for them. But I think they've got to play it quiet.
Definitely. With only 2 people left on Lunatics, they've got to play this smart, but they definitely could capitalize on this as they're getting incredibly close to Policeman and DJ, with Chad just a bit further away, watching out for that push from the south.
Bazooks on the bandage right now. Some dangerous plays on the bandaging and the revives this game. I'm really surprised to see it, but I think when you get into the last 3 teams, there is a slight point difference there, but these guys aren't what I would call like the biggest threats from last round. You're more likely going to be expecting maybe, personally I was expecting Headless team to come out and take it off, or perhaps the guys from Bakery take it off again. So these guys want the win. They want to extend as far as they possibly can up that ladder. I don't think kill bonuses is going to be really the focus here from Bazooks. I think he's going to go Randall and try and get his team the advantage.
It definitely looks like that. He could have stayed a few meters back and been completely safe. He pushes up looking for the kills. DJ goes down as a team moves in from the south. Policeman and his team are completely surrounded and do in fact go down. Bazooks picking up 1 or 2 kills there as it looks to be a 2v3. But obviously,
that was an amazing underdog headshot there. I was about to call out that Godless and Policeman had the biggest advantage here for health. And as I was about to interject and say that, he goes straight down. I can't believe it. What an upset for the guys on Policeman's team. But they definitely made the chicken flight there.
Definitely. If they were keeping an eye on the text channel, they would have in fact seen that one of the guys on Goddle's team, or Godless, as we've figured out, his team was actually knocked out, and they could have jumped on that and gotten the double kill on the reviver as well, but unfortunately didn't know where they were or didn't actually know that was happening at all. So it looks like it's going to come down to the next zone, which is indeed in Lunatics' favour, as Hakai and the rest of the gang are going to have to move up the hill. Looks to be opting to flank around to the right. Bazooks may well spot this on the high ground, however, and it looks to be a flank like we saw last game, in fact. But
I think I disagree. I think Hack's going to get it. I think Hack has the advantage because of the render distance on the grass. They're well within render distance. I don't think Bazook's going to see him. Hack's going up for the shot. He's running in. Looks like I was wrong. I think he called it.
You have to shut your mouth, Suko. The players you mentioned does not go well for them. Looks like
what an upset.
They didn't
Bazook's really pulling it off here. I think every player that I doubt seems to really make the difference.
It looks like Goddles and the rest of the gang have indeed pulled it off, as it was likely with the 4v2, but very well done by Bazooks and Fat Texter at Lunatics to clutch a second place. Policeman doing well with the Chad and DJ to get a third, but definitely an interesting finish there with the full-on flank around to the east.
Again, I'm going to have to give a shout to Headlow, because every time I seem to see him on on the airtime, he's really put in some hard yards there. Also, Policeman, he got a bit of airtime there where he put in some interesting strats with that. Well, first he went fight or flight, which goes along with the Flight Path Chicken team name, but he definitely made it from early game where it looked like he was definitely going to die, and he got his way all the way into Yaz and then back out again into the main ender. But the guys from Godless team, mate, definitely putting in the hard yards there.
Indeed. It's tough to pick an MVP like we did last time, but definitely a very incredible game and great fun to watch.
All right, guys, we'll be back with round 3 for Season 2 CGL High Top Division shortly. And we are back for CGL round 3 for season 2 to close off the night. So welcome back.
Yes, welcome back, Suko. What was your take from the previous game?
Sorry, what was that, mate?
What was your take from the previous game? We didn't have long to talk about.
The previous game? My take from the previous game is that anything can happen because there were 2 teams that I had my eye on thinking that they were going to end up in the top 5. And it didn't happen. I really thought that Smashbox Syndicate was going to take it out. They have sort of been underdogging so far these last 2 rounds. I think for the final round, as we come into the sunset, which is going to close off the night for us on this nice, lovely evening, I think it's going to be Smashbox. They're going to put in some hard yards today.
All right, so Smashbox for dead last. I'm not sure exactly who will come through with this. It's been a bit of a mixed bag in terms of the first 2 games. No real consistent teams in the top 3, I do believe. Was it completely 6 different teams both games? I believe it was. I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure there's been no consistent top 3 teams yet. So it will be interesting to see if one of those 6 come through again in this final game on Sunset. But with 20 seconds to go before the plane makes its arrival, we've got a lot to look forward to in this final game tonight.
I think Succulent Sniping Esports have been up there in the top 10 every time. These guys have really been putting in the work tonight. Headlow in particular, he's in the top 100 for solos at the moment, and he's in top 500 for squads in OC. So he's definitely someone to keep an eye out for. And there's been a couple of changes as well. NoJ Esports has subbed out Chiria. So if any teams out there do sub in, sub out, definitely let us or let the admins at PUBG OC Discord know so we can shout a little bit of love to the subs as they don't get as much playtime and airtime as the rest of you guys who are in core. As we kick things off, plane coming in from south to west.
Definitely. It looks like I may be lucky with my with the mill-based drop. I do indeed have mentioned previously, enjoy watching one of those. And it looks like multiple teams have jumped, all opting to get that early tier 3 loot. So a lot of action will spawn there in just a couple of seconds. But as more teams jump probably towards Prim or heading off towards Milta, it looks like a lot of teams are opting towards the south side of the map.
I'm going to completely negate the last 2 rounds. This is looking like the round that you want to watch. You're going to end the night, the finale on round 3, with half, maybe a third of the server going to the military base. And nothing but good can come out of this, at least for the guys watching at home.
Definitely. It will be highly entertaining, I'm sure. But many kills dropping early, I'm assuming. As many more players look to be dropping towards Mill, it's practically impossible to guess how many. But it looks to be at least 4, possibly 5 teams in that South Island.
I think there might be a choke up here on the west. So anyone who's going to be at Sosnovka might want to head to perhaps Novopranyoi over on the far east side of the island and then escape through the Milta bridge exit. There's definitely a lot of players condensing around that western bridge by the look of things. Smiley face from the Bakers actually fallen in very close to the bridge as well. There's a hard spawn UAZ around there where him and Ballbags are at, sort of between the long spawn building on the west end of that road and Ballbags down by the servo as well. So 2 good, actually, got a vehicle. So they've got the right plan there. One thing we haven't focused on is who's getting the vehicles early. And I think, for the people watching at home, you need to take note of that because these guys know where to look for the vehicles.
Look at that zone. That nothing but love there from the PUBG as it puts the zone right on military for that early game landing. Incredible. It's interesting. In fact, it looks like a dead straight line of players straight up the middle of the map. But with that zone landing on military, a lot of action coming towards those bridges very soon. We may well see something like people running towards those boats and beaching them all if they are on the military side and cleaning up across those bridges in the late game.
I think we're going to find a lot of people coming through sort of Rozok in the school area. And if I'm not mistaken, Funkster and the boys there are going to hole up and grab some people as they come down that main road north to west and the MSR coming from the school. We can see Terabad actually driving into Pachinki. So he might have the understanding based on those early drops where everyone was moving towards and converging on. Also, just watch down there to the west. You can see Primorsk area getting taken under siege by the guys from the bakery. So they're going to be cooking up something marvelous for late game for us. And I think Novopranyoi is now getting the attention it deserves from No Joke Esports. There we go.
Definitely. I think as soon as those guys saw that the zone popped, they ran straight to Prim in those vehicles just to get that loot, as they're pretty certain after seeing the drops that no one went there. But we're back on the military island.
You can see Crossy and Matt Damon. Those boys got some high ground. Playing it very safe at this stage, unless the guys from Smashbox Syndicate and what's this? Cheng Lo's team as well. So that's, I think Chen Lo was playing with who was he playing with last game? Just give me 1 second. I'm going to investigate here. Looks like the Cave boys. So him and Causa. Now, you keep an eye on Causa because they seem to work very well together with covering one another. As a team, they play quite well, but I definitely noticed Cheng Lo and Causa have been playing in a lot of unison. If one of these teams can make it out here and capitalize with something like a 4 and 8 times, then the boys up there at the observatory on the high ground might be exposing themselves between both Nova Prinoy and also down here at the radar area.
It looks like Mr. Chang Lao actually indeed has a suppressed Car 98 with the 8 times. Definitely the privileges of dropping Millbase early as he lands some shots close to Champs. I don't believe he's landed any directly yet, but with Causa moving up, he's definitely got that suppressive fire down.
Just got to remember that when we're watching Cheng Lo and Causa here and the guys from Smashbox as well, the airfield is essentially a gigantic shopping mall, and whoever comes out on top is the one who takes the groceries home. So being that he does have the Car 98 suppressed with an 8 times on it, that could end up in anybody's hands, especially since the circle is falling in on them. And I think the best decision that Causa and the boys there from the cave can make is if they fall out as far as they possibly can and play the outside of the circle when they have that advantage. There's not going to be much to loot left over once everyone starts converging in, because there's only so much you can grab between 4 people. I think the most important thing is going to come from loot as we jump on with Electric and he takes out Aqua. Unfortunately, Aqua was expressing last match that his whole team was feeling a little bit of lag there, so that might have played a little bit of a consequence in what's happened here, as Electric gets himself a second kill here, and Aqua finally getting finished off from being downed at the start there with Electric's first shot.
It definitely looks like the experience of No Joke Esports has triumphed here over at Novo, as they seem to easily clean up the rest of the guys on that team as they have Novo to themselves. As Unwanted may well be, unfortunately doesn't seem to be out of hitting anybody yet, but Luke Ultra moving on his position, and he's not getting any luck here, Unwanted, but he may well have spotted on Luke Ultra. No.
He just needs to be careful because he not only has a level 1 helmet, but he doesn't have a vest as well. So he's going to be absorbing all of the damage he possibly can get. Looks like he's trying to get a shot there on Uncry. He knows Uncry's current position.
He's definitely trying to help his teammate Traz, as he's got all eyes on him at the moment, as Unicry and Luke Ultra moving on his position. It looks to be a swift ending for Traz unless something can magically happen here from Unwanted, as he's trapped in that warehouse.
Traz now running with the UMP. An unfortunate thing about the spectating mode, we can't tell what firing mode and what's left in the ammo pool. If we could, we might be able to speculate on what kind of a play Traz is going to do here. If he was in full auto, I might speculate he's going for a flank, which actually might be the case here as he's moving towards and parallel in the same direction with Electric.
Definitely
It looks like this flank is working.
Indeed, it looks like some quality communication there from Traz, as he may well have realized that 1 or 2 people had pushed on his position, and after Unwanted had taken out Chiria, if that's how you pronounce that name, I'm probably butchering it, but he may well know that there's one more player who may well go for the revive, so Unwanted is wrapping around, looking to capitalize on killing the reviver and the already knocked out player, as Traz distracts Unicry and Luke Ultra a little bit longer.
So Chiria, unfortunately, just subbed in for the team captain Listral, who was having some issues there. And it looks like it's not really paying off at the moment, but it is the first down of the match. There might be a chance for Chiria to be able to get up to now. If they can do that, then they still hold the advantage over Unwanted, as he's sitting by himself in the north end.
It looks like another team, actually, AK Gary and the gang, are moving in on this position. They may have heard a few shots previously and are looking to capitalize on some wounded players, but Unwanted has done a complete 180 and moved to the complete other side of the team. He looks to move on Luke Ultra in just a moment here as he lines up the shot. Doesn't get the headshot, but does serious damage.
I just don't want to spoil this right now. I had a feeling that he was going to come in with a knockout here, but we'll just watch out on the right side of those crates. She was looking to capitalize here, and she almost gets it. Back up at the central area of the airfield, we can just see in the kill feed there Cheng Lo and Edge getting in a bit of a little bit of a conflict. I think Edge coming out on top from Smashbox Syndicate.
Definitely impressive there by Traz, as he's managed to get away himself and is now just back and right next to him as he spots Electric in a bit of a pickle here, as Chiria Revives Luke Ultra very lucky there that he didn't go down, but with the majority of the team around 50% or lower, it could be a clutch here by Unwanted. But as I say that, Electric gets a nice shot on him with the SKS, and now
Traz upper hand here. Played that perfectly well. Way too hasty on the mindset there from the guys from No Joke. Almost came into complete wastage. Electric very, very low, but Traz playing that so well as he's getting flanked now from the rear by Uncry.
What I'd love to see here is a nice bomb to land on all of them, but that's unlikely. Unicry moves in on Traz and does finish him
anybody.
I just think
for the last match of the night, that would be a real salty way to go out. Uncry though coming out on top.
Indeed, I think AK Gary and the rest of them over there have definitely noticed what's going on and just keeping an eye on it. They may have realised now that only one team has come out alive.
It just looks so sinister the way that AK Gary was holding that angle when and shout out to Archer, our cameraman Archer, zoomed in there on his perspective. You can just see him just overwatching as we come back into Sosnovka military base with Edge and the boys there, still in an altercation with Causer and his team. So you can see Blood down at the moment, getting picked up by Champ, Edge down as well.
It looks like they may have conquered, however, as Dozzy and Champs move into Revive. And obviously, the two people that you shouted out earlier who could do some serious damage, unfortunately, are now no longer with us.
It seems that Smashbox Syndicate are in probably the most dangerous spot on the map, but for the time being, they're going to be able to utilize it as best as possible, because they should, by all rights, find that Kar98 suppressed with an 8 times. And being the experienced players that they are, these guys were right up there with the top of their division last season. I expect big things towards the end of this game, because I feel like they're going to pull an underdog move here, not really having been able to capitalize in the last 2 rounds.
Indeed. We've been actually incredibly focused on the South Island so far, but with the majority of the players not even there yet, we need to be able to watch as the zone moves in and pushing a lot of those players outside at Georgia Pole and towards Lipovka.
You see Come On moving all the way down there. So this is the sort of play, as an experienced PUBG player, I would have expected to see from some stronger teams, is to move outside, to think outside the box, go to a least populated area so that you have more of an advantage and you can see where people are converging from. Anyone who's going to be heading straight to the center of the circle when it's such a small landmass of the island, if that is potentially where it's going to be ending, it's going to put them in a precarious position, because they're going to be somewhere between a choke point on 2 different sides of the bridges. If it plays out against that part of the island and it goes to the north bank of the west bridge, which is what I've seen happen quite a lot in this particular scenario, someone who plays the bridge choke point can pull off a couple of good moves here. It looks though like the guys from Bakery are still down in Primo, and they've been putting in a lot of work down there, so they've got some goods for us probably for late game, as some of the boys are moving in from red zone south towards the MSR that goes east to west between Ferry and Primo.
I'm not sure how accurate it is, but it looks like Haters and his team may have just taken one of the only few boats at Primorsk, leaving ball bags without much transport at all. They obviously have those vehicles. There may well be more boats, but
we're just going in for an aerial now. See if
there is indeed one.
They got lucky. It was a good call, though.
They went incredibly close to Prim to find that vehicle, so I was assuming there couldn't have been many there, but it looks like there was 2 quite close to each other. So lucky there for ball bags, as I'm sure they weren't keen on going across that bridge.
You know what there's been a lack of? There's been a lack of trap strats in the PUBG OCE CGL. One of the things I see happen a lot for probably top 20, top 25 teams is that they'll bait with a car. Sometimes when you have zones ending in with boats being a necessity to get to one end of the island from the other, you can see a lot of people hiding underneath the boats or right next to the engine bay of the boats, because it can play really strongly against a team that gets baited for that. But it looks like nobody wants to take those risks when it's a very point-based game.
Looks like Georgism just got caught out there on the rocks as he gets taken out by the AKM. I'm not sure exactly what's going on here as we just join the action now, but it looks like Plutonium and Hakai are just healing up with maybe possibly 1 enemy left.
I think it was Hakai that did take out that and convert that try into a goal there. So those guys have got a couple of minutes to relax while they wait for everybody else to converge in.
Very well played by them, and Godless out in the boat, who just got that vision on them out in the back. But Danknam and BP teams are incredibly far away from the safety of the circle as they look to continue to loot those buildings, as they're possibly only now jumping in those vehicles, but they do need to get a hurry on.
I think Dank might perish here just by the look of things, based on the distance they're going to have to cover. A first aid kit could definitely get them within zone's reach, but it looks like they're trying to run it on foot to this UAZ. They might have told Dankum to hold still. Looks like he's bandaging up because of the slow crawl that he's got there in HP. Depending on how many bandages he's got, will sort of play out whether or not he can make it. I think the guys from Atletico OW, just there south of Gaka, still trying to make their way in.
Definitely well played by them. Nice strategy to leave Dank to just bandage up in the building while they run off and get the vehicle. Actually, I'm not sure if you noticed, but until about 2 minutes ago, they were actually in a boat up that river and obviously in search of a vehicle, and lucky to find that UAZ just next to the mountain.
See BRPC again. He's making some odd plays. He's in some odd locations. He's far on the west side of the map trying to come in from the outside of the blue. And we can see Mikesy and Fidget Spinner converging in on the bridge, 2 separate vehicles there, right next to Funkster and the boys, as Komatsu also converge on the west bridge choke point. I think something's going to happen at the bridge.
Yes, you may well be right, as it's likely that many of those teams are confined to crossing it, if not swimming. With many of the boats already being taken, there's going to be quite a bit of action coming.
This is a bit sus. You can see that the bridge hasn't loaded in yet. It's one of the unfortunate things for spectator view, but Archer's putting in some really good angles here for us. So if it does go down at this point, we're going to have a very good visual of these 3 teams converging on one another.
Yes, it may well be a new update coming to PUBG just to remove the bridges outright. That might be an interesting thing, but I don't think that's coming just yet.
I think they've all broken away. It just seems that every time I pop up a suggestion, it looks like...
Oh
no, unfortunately, there has been a crash. It is PUBG, and crashes do happen. So halfway through CGL High Top Season 2, the High Top Division, we've had a crash here. So we're trying to get back into it. We've had some technical issues, guys. Just bear with us. I think some notable plays so far is definitely seeing the guys from Smashbox Syndicate putting in those hard yards there to try and take territorial gain over the entire Sosnovka airfield for the meantime.
Quite unfortunate there. That bridge not loading in may well have been signs of things to come. But
that's a good observation.
Incredibly unlucky for the 3rd game and final game of the night in the High Top Division. Unsure currently if the rest of the teams are still playing or if it's just us who have unfortunately lost visual. But if it is indeed still continuing on,
teams will still be going. So currently in the standings, we've got 3XC, Abracadabra, Adolf's Angels, Aga 7 Bravo team. So this is the High Top Division team that they've got. Atletico OW, Chicken Katsu, as we saw, I think it was Katsu's team moving in with Chicken Katsu moving in with Unwanted and Aqua earlier perishing in that game down there at the Novoprenoi area in the containers. We've got Conspiracy with the boys X-Fear, Tintin. We saw some strong plays tonight. Flight Path Chicken. They've got Power AU. Big footwork getting put in earlier. As we drop back in, we're going to see who's still contending for the choke points. It looks like Dr. Fidget Spinner's boys have got their way over as Aaron B and who's that down there? Is that a boat in the water right now with Raziel? I think they might still be on land, actually. So it looks like it's going to be a little bit of contest here for the south side of the bridge. An interesting thing.
It definitely looks like they're positioning a vehicle on the entrance of that bridge, knowing full well, most likely, that Aaron and, well, at least our squad is still on the north side, as they look to actually be underneath the bridge.
Did I just see a crossbow under the bridge with Grandtastic? I've got to say, it's got to be due to poor loot that he's got that, because that weapon over 50 meters, especially in this high skill tier of competition, is going to be very difficult to use.
You're going to say that now, but I bet we see a crossbow headshot coming in very soon. I hope so anyway. As Aaron moves in with the vehicle and the rest of his team, just as the blue zone closes in, they're going to have to move in on this bridge, and it will indeed mean alerting the crossbow man and the rest of his team of their presence. So it looks like they've ditched the vehicle, a smart choice as they move in to the last edge of Fishing Village. So they look to get a bit of vision to suss out what's going on.
Looks like Flight Path Chicken has had the last flight for the night as Power AU just goes down there in the kill feed. Headlow has died from falling. Now that's an upset for me because I really have been excited seeing the plays coming out from Headlow tonight. But we're on board at the moment with Sardude, and they're in a little bit of a firefight here, firing from uphill advantage downhill. And looks like he's going for some cover perhaps. They're not really in a choke point right now. but they are between two spread teams.
Indeed. Unfortunate there for Headlow, as he and his team have put in a very strong performance in the first two games tonight, but it wasn't to be, as we are now on board with Chemical Nova as he's moving towards the edge of the circle, trying to get a nice flank here on Ziffer and the rest of his team with Sardu just up the hill.
You know, Chemical Nova was putting in a lot of rounds downrange early in round one, so I've got no doubt that Chemical Nova can really help carry a lot of the movement of the team further into the inside of the circle. And hold on, looks like there's two crates currently right within reach of the circle. Be interesting to see where the circle ends up. I have a feeling that the way that it works is going to be somewhere between the two crates. If anyone else is aware that there's two drops there, that might be the way to go. Looks like Zephyr though, from the is it Taiwanese Titans, has just gone down.
I do believe that is their name, but it looks like Bundy Mate has capitalized and taken him out while he was riding around on the bike. I'm not sure what their game plan is from now as Chemical Nova moves in, but as that new circle centralizes just to the military and the north of it, a lot of those teams are going to have to start moving in.
Psycho, Goon, Neon, all moving in from the northeast at the moment. We're on board with the Lone Kebab. Don't know if it's lamb, beef or chicken, but they're traveling in the UAZ, moving in towards some hard cover, but they're still on the north side. So I think the best spot for them to be in is probably as hard as they can get on the east, unless they spot themselves a boat. But as I was saying, they're rolling past some hard cover, but until we zoom out, we can't even see how far away from the zone they actually are. So there's really no threat to them at the moment, apart from the blue zone itself. And it looks like where they're jumping out now, they might be upgrading to a boat.
It looks like the Lone Kebab and the rest of his team have luckily found a boat that is coming at the perfect time, actually, as they were still stuck on that North Island in the US. So it looks like they will be just able to make it to the south side before the zone hits them. But now that the zone is moving in, a lot of those teams are moving on military, with the majority of it already being looted, obviously, as of the start of the game. So they're all just rushing for those protected buildings.
Now, taking control of the control room, we see Blood. And I think he's going to be putting in a little bit more of a recon role here, not so much rounds down range, but more the intel that he can provide for his team. Obviously, popping your head up when you're inside such a small target point is going to be very hard to deal with from all the different angles you're exposed from. But the amount of intel that he can get out from there is going to be so valuable for the team. We're just watching Skies Blue and Quacky's boys moving up as they come past Akaroa, if I haven't butchered that name.
And Akaroa has noticed their movements as he moves across the hill. He spots one of them going down the hill, takes him. He gets hit down just under half health.
But now Akaroa is in a 2v4, if I'm not mistaken, or 2v3 now. And it's looks like might be... was it Zooks that got him there?
I believe so.
JG86 put him down.
JC finished him off, but it looks like that team is all gone now, with Volcan luckily still only knocked out, so those two will move in to revive him. Unsure if they'll be able to get him. They are on the slow side of the circle, but it is moving in. So
this is a very good angle here. We can see Fallen and the boys from the Bakers holding a hard point down there on the southwestern corner as two other teams are converging, and we're on board with Come On. And he's got some people pinned behind a rock and a blue place.
All with the jokes tonight, Super. Yes, indeed. Three of them, I believe, are stuck behind that rock, with one just being revived now. He's got them pinned, and I'm not sure he's going to let them leave. It looks like the Zooks is keeping an eye out to the north, and he's not sure. He's sussing out. He's probably got an assumption that there's someone who's moved in late from that bridge, and he is correct. Terabad and Raz all stuck up there on the edge of the zone. They may well have just taken out a team, though, so they're going to be looting those bodies.
As we zoom out, you can see far east. If we can just zoom in a little bit on Godless and the boys, they're actually, I believe, last round's winners. They are so far out of contention right now and choked between potentially three teams if Blankface and his boys come back over. Actually, no, is Blankface by himself? He might actually be lone wolfing it right now. So if he can get away from those boys there just slightly north of him, he might be able to sneak a few points off before he perishes. Because I think it's going to be very hard in the angle that he's going to be converging in from to be able to stay out of sight. Once you can be identified as a lone player, you then become an easy target for teams like 3 and 4s where you can see further there in the north, northwest, and to the east.
Indeed, but also the advantages of being a lone player. It's a lot easier to sneak into one of those buildings and hide in a corner, whereas if you have 4 players, it's a lot easier to spot a hot building. But indeed, as Blankface rushes towards the new zone, which is indeed on the western side of Military Base, a lot of those teams that were hiding out in the north do indeed have to push over the ridgeline, so they will be spotted by the teams hiding out in the buildings, as the player Blood in ATC is getting a lot of vision on a lot of teams right now, which is terrific.
Right here near DJ, he's perched up between Bundy and the boys, and then just to their west, the Baker boys again still in the circle, and then you can see the other boys from Come On's team just to the north of them. Baker boys taking their time, their sweet ass time to cook up something here for the late game, and I think Five and Chemical Nova and the boys here are just going to be waiting it out. They've got some very good cover. This is a really interesting play, the way that the guys have the south map, the south end of the field mapped off. They have cover as a defilade from the south, they have cover to the west, and then they also have cover to the north.
Indeed, Sardu taking a few shots to the pan, but protecting him nicely as he jumps down into that missile silo as he runs for safety. He has a few teammates for backup behind him, however, as he rushes towards the zone. It's moving in fast, so a lot of teams are going to get a move on, and he may well be lucky and spot those guys to the north or the northeast as they move in.
This is a bad spot to be holding, because the high ground advantage will go to anybody that comes up from the west or the north to them. They need to get somewhere closer to hard cover, like those fences that are just over to the west.
Indeed, they're not even in the zone where they are now, so they won't be able to stay there much longer, but they will be hearing those Godless and Hakai.
I think Godless just went down.
Indeed, Stalin knocks him out with the AKM, but they're all starting to slip outside the zone. Plutonium will most likely fall to the zone himself as Hakai goes down. Tintin and Stalin cleaning up here as those guys move in. Zerg off in the background. It looks like he may fall as well if he doesn't.
Who's that with the M249? Right there next to Matt Damon. Who is that dirty boy? Close quarters with an M249. Things are going to get interesting.
I'm not sure, but in the kill feed, lots of people getting knocked out right now. NZ Girl fallen, many players dropping, Stalin himself and Psycho. So even though there's 42 alive, which is incredible for a zone this small, a lot of them are already knocked out.
I like the way that Funkster and the boys are playing. They're having a barrel of fun right now.
Indeed. Sardu cleaning up, taking out Tintin. Zerg finally killed by now.
Is that Crossy that's got the M249 just slightly lower? Just on the... Is that the M249? I think it is. So they're holding some very nice points here. Now, this is something that not many teams do. Pick a corner, hold it, and cover your team. Crossy right now, I think, is going to pull off some of the plays of the game with that gun. It's a shame that we don't get to see the acquisition of that weapon and to see it get put into use. But if you can put 2 and 2 together, I'm sure we're going to find some interesting results, especially with the hard point that they're holding. You're thinking almost a 360-degree view. 4 players holding a 90-degree angle there in the building that they're at. If they had the ability to see outside, it'd be full 360-degree view that they could defend from.
Indeed, but unfortunately with that building, the new zone has spawned far west, so a lot of those teams are going to have to start running very soon, as that M249 may well be coming up in the rear, spraying down many players.
Archer. You're just pointing out 2 crates there. Did you notice that there, Jungle? That's very generous from the PUBG gods. I think they're watching PUBG OC CGL 2 tonight, and they're gifting as much as they possibly can to make this an explosive finish. If only we were so lucky and could get a red zone as well, then it definitely would be an explosive finish.
Indeed, that may well be a blessing and a curse for those guys up in the north who may well be very tempted to move in on that. But hopefully, if they have some games...
I'm just going to butt in here and point out that Grant still has a freaking crossbow this late into the game, and I want him to...
That's incredible.
Oh,
that's incredible.
I wanted so badly for him to survive.
I do believe actually one of his teammates, or I believe his teammate, has an MK14, which is quite a rare gun. We could just see it then on Kaiser's screen up further north. I'm not exactly sure who has it, but someone has that new rifle, and I'm very keen to see what it does. Here it is on Giannis.
I think I'm cursed. I think every person that I call dies. Is that Fallen running down the field right now from Baker Boys?
It looks like it. Giannis is not holding back with his rifle as he puts in some damage. I'm not sure if he's landing many shots, but
Giannis
definitely
34, man. Definitely butted him up right there as one of the guys from the bakery ran across the field. I guess you could say he's on a roll.
Okay. We got to just move on from the puns tonight. I'm too tired. Okay. Back to the game. Giannis eyeing up ball bags in the watchtower as he spots Fallen outside. He's not taking any shots just yet, just biding his time, hoping to line up that crucial headshot.
You can't tell me he did not capitalize on that. Mustn't have been Fallen. I think I've misread that name as I was running across the field. I've totally butchered someone there, and I apologize for that.
That's all right. It looks like Haders is cleaning up a bit himself as he moves in from the east. He takes out Kyrgyz as
16 alive.
It's incredible. Giannis, is he by himself, or is he just completely separated from his team?
Well, he was. I believe he was with who was that holding the crossbow? That was Grant, wasn't it? So
yeah,
he had the ridge there, and they were holding it. I mean, I really don't think Grant Haskell was going to do too much with the crossbow, to be honest. But it would have been so overwhelmingly fun to see him get a kill with that.
Indeed. I think he was holding an M16 as well, but he was holding that crossbow out, just hoping for the lucky player to just be standing still close enough to land the shot, but I don't think it was to be.
Raziel is getting pulled up on by Come On, and he goes down. Oh, this is a bad place to get down.
Come On Me. Incredibly unlucky on Come On Me, just running up to Raz, who was hiding behind that rock, gets immediately punished. I think he was expecting him to be crouching around the right side, but he was just lying down waiting for him as Bazooks takes him out, but he's getting hit hard by that zone. I don't see how he could make it here, as he is well behind it and not looking to catch up.
Resolve coming right up on the northwest side. Fidget Spinner behind. Smiley on the right. Fallen in front. This is not a good spot for Resolve right now. He's pinched between three, but he's going full aggro here. As he takes one shot, takes two shots, and he goes down right on the outside of the north road as the blue starts to close in on him. Fallen, NZM, holding that ground very nicely. Very nicely.
It looks like 2 or 3 teams left here as Fallen and Ballbags hold that fence with Smiley Face up in the rear, with Haders and Defs off to the north, and Cheeria, I'm not sure.
You wouldn't believe it. Cheeria from NoJo Esports still alive, lone wolfing it.
Indeed, the sub looks to be a good choice as she's carrying her team with just 1 kill, but hiding nicely just behind the fence, looking to pick up those crucial points at least for 3rd place.
And Cherry's got this catchphrase on her stream. It's a little bit of trivia here, but it's not the carry, the mascot. I think she's got those worded the wrong way around. She's definitely carrying her team here to late ground. So 6 players left alive. If she can capitalize here, get some bonus points, it's going to do well for them later on in the season.
I like how he strategically didn't say she was going to win. So she does indeed have a chance here, as Suko doesn't put his chips on her just yet, but Smiley Face and Fallen are closest to the circle with Cheerio just a bit further away, but Haders and his team are looking a bit out of place here as they are completely in the open and Ballbags starting to punish.
I'm going to have to call it, and I'm going to say that I think Cherry is not going to make it because of where the circle's situated. 3 players on Ballbag's position and then 2 players pushed out with Hades down. So it's a wide open field. They're all within render distance for grass to be active, but I just don't think it's something that she's going to be able to pull off unless she runs during the firefight.
I do believe I have to put my chips on it. Cheerio is going to lie down in the grass, and it's going to be Ballbags, his team left, and it's going to be a bit close, but I do believe Cheerio just won't be lucky this time.
I know her too well. She's going for the crawl already while they're in the firefight. It's just, it's a good strategy, but here's the thing. Open field, I think
never know.
She hasn't been spotted yet, but
if she hasn't been spotted, they may well be.
And it looks like she's died outside of the zone due to the DMG. So damage over time, DPS right there has got her from the blue. Smiley Face, Ballbags, Fallen NZM, and Smiles taking out the win. If you guys have enjoyed the stream tonight, big shout out to Archer and Koth for putting this up. Every one of the mods, Core for helping us out with some of the info as well in between rounds. If you've been enjoying and want to support the community, do consider donating to PUBG OCE. Definitely smash that follow button. And shout out also to my co-caster, Jungle Foe, for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much, Suko. Indeed, if you would like to support PUBG OCE with what they're doing here, with the great Discord server they provide every evening for you guys to find players, or to this great league at CGL2, do consider subscribing to the Twitch channel as one of the numerous ways to support what we're doing here. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again next week.